Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Captain Swan podcast number 91. I'm Serena, Savior Out on Tumblr, and these are the people with me today.
I'm Lisa, and I'm you brought me home.
Hi, I'm Daniela, and I am Princess Swan Love on Tumblr.
Hi, I'm Allison Swan.
Hi, I'm Michelle, and I'm to the end of the world or time.
Okay.
No one.
We're having alphabetical problems.
Yes.
Apparently, yes.
But we figured it out. Anyway, we are here to talk about street rats. But before we begin, I wanted to remind everyone again that we are approaching our episode 100 and we are taking your suggestions on what it should be like. So, what do you think we should discuss? We already asked on our Tumblr and we got some replies, but we're still taking suggestions. You have some time since episode 100 won't be until early next year, probably. Okay, so let's start with the first question then.
Okay, before we do that, can I just say that I like the original title of this episode better?
Was it Diamond in the Rough?
Diamond in the Rough,
Yes.
I preferred that to Street Rats, but whatever.
Okay, yes. Diamond Mirror was so much better. And it fits so much more.
I know, right? Like, I don't understand.
Because
Whatever.
because Emma is also a Diamond Mirror.
Exactly. Whatever. Anyway.
And Street Rat sounds so bad. Like, oh, you're just Street Rat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the whole point of Aladdin is that he's more than that, but whatever. Anyway. Okay. Speaking of Aladdin, we're going to start with questions about Aladdin, Jasmine, and Jafar.
Yes!
Okay, this first one's from Anonymous. Do you guys believe Aladdin is being a bit shady? I feel like he still has powers and those shears are just nonsense. How did Emma recognize the savior power that led her to the cave and ultimately him if he doesn't have it anymore? And then he pops up out of the shadows. How convenient that he's been in town this whole time. It would have made a lot more sense if he wanted to pause his story in the land of untold stories. I don't quite understand this route they chose to go with Aladdin, and they're going to ruin another classic. Uh-oh.
Can I do first?
My dear Anonymous, I think your first problem is that you are trying to make sense of what Adam and Eddie wrote. Because there is just no sense. If the reason why is probably a plot hole. Anyway.
Okay. About I don't think it's Aladdin being shady. And can we I have something for the entire fandom. Can we stop calling every like let's make like racist, guys. Let's not do that. Okay. I do have a theory about Aladdin. I think he firmly believes that he doesn't have the power anymore. I don't think he's being shady about that, but I don't think the power is gone. Because first of all, why do they say people believe in villains when they tell them? Like, villains lie, people. Seriously.
Okay.
And,
okay, so Mai, do you think this is a Zelina situation where Emma, quote unquote, lost her powers, but then she believed again and got them back?
Yeah. Well, I don't think it's gonna be like believing again. I think it's like, okay, remember Charmed? How they won powers? I think that's what the shears do. They bind a savior's powers because if the powers were gone, they wouldn't have been able to find them because it's connected to the magic. So I'm pretty sure the magic is still in them. So I think it's gonna take something heroic or heroic and believing in himself or sacrificing himself for someone, just like he did in the game, to bring the magic back out. You know?
Mm.
Because seriously, I don't think the Shears really cut the line. Because villains are people. Villains lie. Like, I'm sorry, but you're first the bad guy, and you're really going to believe him when he says that Saber's to die?
But again,
Like,
this is
and
this is the same thing we've been saying for 3 weeks. Why is everybody trusting, shady Oracle girl and a bird?
Yeah.
Why
That's
do
like
they
trusting
always trust shady people?
I don't
They-
know. I don't know. That's what I've been asking myself all these years. Why we trust shady people when we should trust the good and honest people.
hey, you're a fan of Regina as well.
Well,
I mean,
when Regina was a
Merlin.
villain, that was me. Long story.
I mean, Merlin was shady last year, and still.
I know
But
that's why I'm not sad he's dead, because he was being shady.
Can I say something about Regina a moment? You know, I think Regina, when she sees her dark self right now, she's like, was I that annoying and a total bitch back then? Obviously you
Well,
are.
she's run into the
Okay,
evil queen
we're
several
talking about
times and hasn't done
Aladdin.
that yet. But anyway, we're talking about Aladdin.
yeah, what
Sorry.
did you guys think in general about Aladdin, the portrayal, now that we've seen him like more than before?
I
Did you
actually
like?
Okay.
Awesome.
Was I the only one who thought he sounded like Will Scarlet? That he was.
No.
I know
Yes.
the actor is Australian. Like, I get that, but he sounded like he was trying to do this weird English accent that made no sense, and it kept distracting me.
I had a lot of difficulties understanding him. Like,
I had difficulty in the scene when they're going towards the king. Everything else I understood it perfectly. There was just like one word.
Like I said, like I made that post during the podcast, and everybody, or during the episode when I was live blogging, and everybody's screaming at me, "He's Australian!" I'm like, yes, I understand he's Australian, but that's not the accent he's doing. I've heard lots of. I wish Ro was here so he could tell us.
Yeah.
But
I
he's not.
understand. Like, I understand the road just fine. It was just this dude that I couldn't understand.
Well, that's because Ro's accent is very barely there. Now, I don't know what Denise was thinking when he decided to use that particular, like, Birmingham, North England type of accent, but yes, it was kind of distracting. It was. I understood him simply because I'm used to hearing the Northern English accent because I'm a devout watcher of BBC shows a lot, so I'm able to tell those differences. But still, there were times like when they were walking through the desert to the cave that it was a little bit difficult to understand what he was saying because it was so thick. Even Michael Soka's accent's pretty goddamn thick. Isn't that thick? And I'm like,
Yeah.
did you just like drop it and
Like, I never had trouble understanding Michael.
But as for the personality wise, he played the role very well. I had zero problem with the way that he played it. It was very much like in the film. He had the charm and the rapscalliousness, kind of like Hook. So it was he played that on point. Now, as for the Jafar thing, sure they shouldn't trust in shady people, and it's entirely possible that he produces these magical shears that can cut away your destiny, but maybe he just made it up to make Aladdin second guess himself and truly believe there was a way he could get rid of his powers, because his powers is the only thing that was keeping Jafar at bay. So if Aladdin thinks that he can get rid of his powers, honestly, I think that the thing with Emma going into the forest and using her connection with Aladdin to find him, even though that connection shouldn't exist because he supposedly cut away his magic, I think that was a gaffe on the writer's part. Sometimes I feel like the writers don't go back and proofread what they've written to make sure it all goes together properly. And I think that was that was a piece that they kind of missed.
Yeah, I lean towards pothole as well. because I don't trust these people. I mean,
Me neither.
I mean, as far as the flashbacks part, I love the flashbacks. Like everything, well, almost everything about the flashbacks, I loved. Although I thought they tried way too hard to have nods to the movie. Like, you can cool it, guys. We know it's a movie. It's fine.
I love the flashbacks. I just felt there was way too many of them. I was like, please stop. Okay.
Yeah.
It felt like half of the episode was flashbacks.
I'm pretty sure it was.
I felt like they put in so much that they wasted too much valuable screen time that could have gone to other things, which I know all of us wish we had seen. Well, especially especially the useless scene in the day spa that had no point.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Okay. It's like they tried to cram the entire movie into half an episode of TV. Like the episode itself is like 42 minutes, and they tried to cram a 90-minute movie into 20 minutes, and it was annoying.
Absolutely.
Okay, I am the one single one because I love the references and I loved Aladdin and Jasmine, and maybe it's because it's my favorite movie, and maybe because I love seeing all those little things. Like, I live for them. So
okay, no, wait a minute. Everybody knows Aladdin's my favorite movie.
Mine yes, too. It could have been better. Okay, guys, no interrupting. Like, could have been better, maybe. But considering how they've done some of the other stories, I like the way they did this one. And I liked Jasmine tricking him into helping, because it's a new twist. Instead of just going to your far and being like, oh, I need a diamond in the love.
Well, no, I like that part. And what am I trying to say? It's just like, it's okay. I know people hate the Frozen arc, whatever, but they didn't try to cram all of Frozen, like all of the movie of Frozen into one episode.
I love Frozen.
Like, it played out, like we got their backstory over several episodes.
Yeah.
They crammed their entire backstory into one episode. And it's like, guys,
I don't think we got the entire.
And it makes no sense because they keep saying that this is this is the season where they don't have to cram shit in because they've got all 22 episodes and it's not 11 and 11. So why did they do it this way?
I don't know.
Because I don't think they crammed it all in this one. I think there's more to their story. There was like
a flashback every 5 minutes. You had 5 minutes of Storybrooke, and then it went back to flashback. It was like flashback.
Yes, but would you rather have that or 10 minutes of Regina being,
I would rather have had 10 minutes of Emma and Hook actually having a conversation about her lying about her fucking dying. That's what I would have fucking had.
Okay. Well, you can scream at Em and Eddie for that and tell them about the Selena scene. Okay? Because if you're gonna blame a scene, blame the stupid Selena side plot.
Well,
yeah,
we've got
that
like
was dumb
I said,
too.
We've got a question about that. We will get to it. Everybody remain calm. Right now we're talking about Aladdin and Jasmine.
Exactly. I'm just saying.
My big problem with Aladdin and Jasmine was when they reunited at the end and all Jasmine seemed to care about was the fact that Agrabah's in danger. I'm like, you two have been separated for who knows how long, and your first thought is that your city's in danger and not that.
Okay. I will try to defend that. Because I think that's just a bad writing decision. Because throughout the episode in Storybrooke, we see her worried about Aladdin. And when the scene with Henry, you can tell that she loves him and all that. And I'm like, I put him on this path. If anything happens to him, it's on me. And if anything happens to him, it's on me. There's background noise, and that's freaking me out.
It's not me.
But during the last scene, I thought it was perfect until they had her say that, and I'm like, yeah, that wasn't the best line.
Well, and especially because he left, they had their kiss interrupted by the Sultan, and then he asked her to run away with him, and she's like, "No, I have to stay and deal with this place because you told me I've been selfish." Blah blah blah. And then we definitely do get the impression that she loves him until they meet up, until they're reunited. And again, she's so worried about she put him on this path that might kill him, yet here he is alive, and her first thought is to put him back on the path that might kill him.
See, that's what I'm saying. And so I'm pretty sure it's a writing decision. It's
I'm like, what?
a really shitty writing decision. I mean, Adam and Eddie aren't exactly good at writing.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, it just Aladdin and Jasmine are probably my favorite Disney couple, and to see them make these choices in the current day didn't really make me excited about having them around.
I'm hoping we get more of that on tomorrow's episode, and more of Aladdin and Jasmine, not Aladdin and Jasmine.
Was more
Jasmine and Aladdin.
Was more than one person involved in writing this episode?
It was Adam and Eddie.
No wonder.
Exactly. That's what I said.
I mean, not that I'm downing their skills. It's just that sometimes those two aren't on. Sometimes those two aren't always on the same page about things. Just saying.
I mean,
it shows.
It
shows
it worked up until that line.
It definitely shows when they write. You can tell where their focuses lie when they write, because things don't always jive together. It's like, yeah, it's true. Like, why are you, freaking out that you put him on this path to destruction, and then you find him, but all you care about is putting him back on that path instead of being happy that you found him. I'm confused.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, I'm like, where's my kiss? Hello?
I can show you the world kiss.
I'm actually kind of sick of all these couples that fall in love in 3 hours. It's a big problem because
I get you.
they could have said that they were together for months, maybe trying to help the kingdom or whatever. But it's always, they spent 3 hours together. Oh, they had a dance at a ball together, and now they're getting married. Like, why? Stop. It's something that's been a problem since season 1. Like, I think my biggest disappointment with Snowing in season 1, which was amazing when they still remember to write it, was that I didn't want their next meeting after episode 3, the flashback in episode 3, to be that they were already in love. I wanted more development. That's one of the reasons Captain Swan is so great. It's one of the very few couples, maybe the only one, they actually developed instead of being bam, we are in love, it's been 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The same thing happened to Ruby Slippers. It was the same thing happening with Aladdin and Jasmine. Like, that's not what I remember about Aladdin and Jasmine. They met, they got to know each other through the story.
Although,
and then
to be fair, Aladdin and Jasmine don't know each other that long in the movie either.
Yes.
They only know each other for like a week or something.
A week.
Okay, and like I said, I think there's more to the story. Flashbacks,
Okay, well, speaking of that, we've got a question from Ro about Jafar. I don't know about you guys, but I think it would be such a waste for the writers to cast an actor of Oded Fair's caliber as Jafar and not use him more. I really hope this isn't the last we see of him and we aren't stuck with just the ego queen for season 6. Also, a question for Mai or anyone else who is a fan of Gallivant. Now that we've seen Karen David on the show as Jasmine, who do you think Joshua could play? I personally think he would make a great Flynn rider.
Joshua? Oh god, I like him as Flynn. I like the idea of him as Flynn. But let me see. I'm gonna think about it and give you a better answer, bro. Although I do love Josh's new show. I know it's probably gonna get canceled, but it's amazing. He's so hot.
But yeah, I totally agree with him about Jafar. I'm pretty well. I hope we get more Jafar because Jafar is one of my favorite villains, and
Mine
Oded's
too.
a really good Jafar.
Senior
That would
psychopath,
be
like Jeannie
that would
called
be
him.
like that would be a supreme waste of amazing talent because Oded Fair is like, oh, amazing, talented actor, and it would really be a waste if they only brought him in for 1 or 2 episodes and then he just dropped off. I'm like, more.
Hmm.
Yeah, honestly, and he. Okay, you guys know I love Naveen Andrews as Jafar, and I do think he did a phenomenal Jafar. But God, Naveen, I mean, Oded is just wow. We've only gotten a few scenes, and he's already gotten everything that makes Jafar so creepy. Well,
He's
not being too much.
no,
Like Evil
seriously.
Queen is too much.
There were a couple moments where I thought I was watching the movie, where I thought it was movie Jafar. He sounded exactly like him. It was so creepy in the good way.
Like
And it
yeah,
works
creepy.
because that's the kind of villain that works. Okay, that's the kind of villain that works. The creepy villain, you know.
Evil
Mhm.
Queen could actually take some pointers about how to actually be
Oh God.
evil and
Yes.
queenly from this guy because it
See,
feels
here's
like it feels like her evil side at this point is turning into an evil joke.
Yeah.
But no, here's the thing though. I mean, they're handicapped by their own conceit because they can't have the evil queen actually be an efficient villain because if she was, everybody would be dead.
Yeah.
I think
So,
the sorry, go on.
no, go ahead.
I think the solution would be for the evil queen to start working towards something that is not I want to kill everyone. If she's trying to do something like cast another curse, I don't mean the dark curse, maybe something else that needs several different ingredients. Maybe for some reason she needs the heroes to be alive because I don't know, they are the last ingredient or something. It's their job to find a reason for the evil queen not to kill them. So
Mm.
the fact that she spends more time thinking about her next outfit than she does thinking about a way to actually be evil, it's just a waste of time.
No,
Yeah,
It
she's
see,
not
seems
being
like
basically,
evil. She's just being needy and ridiculous and over the top and doing
Can
something
I
that we will not mention because it's so creepy.
oh, we have to
can I
mention it
mention
though because
something
it's in our next
about
question.
oh excuse me, before you question, can I say something? Can Adam and Eddie still stop pushing the idea of Rumple and Evil Queen, please? It's like every
Well,
conversation
We were just about
just
to
it's
start talking
driving me
about.
insane.
well,
Oh, sorry.
that's kind of what our next question's about.
it
Sorry,
just
Thank
it
guys.
just
you.
it just seems like Regina or no, it seems like the evil queen has a different tack in mind. We all assumed that when she returned to Storybrooke, she was going to be on the warpath. She was going to try to take out Snow and Charming, and like what
Because that's what Em and Eddie
I
said.
know,
They said she'd be the worst. She'd be the most evil she's
right?
ever been.
But she's doing it, and it seems like she's doing it in a different way. Instead of using her magic and just killing everyone, which she could easily do, she's doing it in a more insidious and more pervasive way. Like she's turning them emotionally against each other, trying to sow seeds of dissent, trying to
Well, that's
push them
boring.
apart.
Mhm.
And she's doing it in a way that she's making Regina. She's trying to leave Regina helpless. Like she's trying to make her think it doesn't matter that you taking your evil self away. You still can't help them. You can't fix this. I'm gonna fuck all of this up. She's sowing seeds with Henry. She's sowing seeds with Emma and Hook and the family and everybody. It's like she's trying to
Mind games.
she wants to sit yeah, she's playing mind games and she wants to sit back and just watch them tear each other apart.
Well, she's not doing it as well as Rumple. That's all I have to say.
True.
And honestly, the way she's doing it, it's only bringing them closer together rather than pulling them apart. And that was disgusting.
Which is why Rumple's better at it.
And
Very true.
Okay, so our next question is about the scene that we all hated with Regina and the evil. Well, it's Regina and not Regina, the evil queen and Zelina and their creepiness. Anonymous asks, does anyone else need ear bleach after hearing Zelina and the evil queen talk about boning Rumple? What the fuck is the
Yes.
obsession these writers have with this grossness? Is this supposed to be cute and silly? Two evil dipshits wanting to bone the evilest of dipshits? That whole spa scene was so ridiculous and a waste of screen time. Now I have images of A&E getting pedicures together and talking about boning Regina.
I just can't
Okay.
understand why they took an entire day, they revamped that entire store, turned it into this day spa, did all of this stuff for a scene that was so inconsequential, so unnecessary, and so ridiculous that it ate up a bunch of screen time that could have been better suited for other more important things, to talk about sexual pursuits of Rumpelstiltskin that no one wants to hear. It's like, what?
I don't know
What the
why
hell
they
is
keep
this?
insisting that people want to bone Rumple.
I mean, Rumpel is a middle-aged, not that tall guy, and Adam and Hedy are middle-aged, not that tall guys. So maybe they're living out their fantasy with everyone wanting to bone Rumpel. Because, yeah, if you really think about it, every main female character, it's been Cora, it's been Regina, it's Zelina, and Belle. Everyone except the people who already have a true lover wanted to bone Rumpel. It's kind of unbelievable. Like, you want to tell me that Regina has tried to eat on Rumpel, but she's never tried to. I wanted to say she hasn't tried to eat on Killian. She kind of has, but not really. Like, more people should be eating on Killian, and less people should be eating on Rumpel.
oh, and even with the haircut, it doesn't work. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm just more pissed off that they wasted all that screen time that could have been better served with, I don't know, a conversation between Killian and Emma, anything else, honestly.
or another
that.
charming
No,
scene. I
and
wouldn't have
also the
said
whole
no to another
Selena
charming
side
scene.
plot, like the whole Selena side plot was ridiculous, because really you spent most of 5B trying to build up the Selena and Regina relationship that no one cared about, when you could have been giving us James and Charming or something else more better, only to rip it apart in like 3 seconds for something even stupider. And a part of me kind of likes that we didn't get a conversation between Captain Swan, because Adam and Eddie suck at writing them.
Yeah. When you look at it from that perspective, I'm kind of glad that it hasn't happened yet, because let's be real, it's not exactly their strong suit. Although, to be fair, well, not really to be fair, to be more critical, the show in general is not a fan of these deep heart-to-heart conversations. They always happen off screen. It's annoying as fuck.
I hope that nothing happens between Rumple and the Evil Queen, or else I'm gonna throw up. Seriously.
Okay, can we start talking about that? I just ate.
Okay.
Okay,
I just want to say it.
Moving on. It's also from Ro. I was disappointed by the lack of CS in this episode, but at the same time, I thought all the moments with Emma and Henry were great. As much as I love the CS relationship, it was initially the Swan believer dynamic which first got me interested in the show. The most touching part was when Emma told Henry she had real magic in her life and that it was him. They really have been in this together from the start, so their scenes were long overdue. Looking forward to joining you all next week.
I feel
No?
like I
Go to
I feel I feel like there haven't been really good Swan Believer scenes in quite a while, so that was good actually. I feel like Henry often acts out of character um,
Well,
regarding Emma. Yep.
Serena, it's hard for him to have a character when the writers aren't really interested in giving him one.
Yes, that's true. He just acts like the plot requires him to act. He's often awful, just terrible, like in the season finale of last season.
Ugh.
And yes, and but often he just says things that are terrible regarding his mothers, like when in season 3 he said that he wished he had never brought Emma back, and now he's repeating it, and it's like there was an entire kingdom that was basically not living. Emma coming to Storybrooke was a good thing. Then life went on and other bad things happened, but it was not about Emma coming to Storybrooke.
Yeah, I mean that's
Yeah,
another
most of
reason
those
why
bad
this.
things. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Well,
Most
that's
of the
probably
bad
what
things happen because of. Okay.
My
Okay, and most of the bad things happen because of Regina, actually. But yes, I agree. In row, I love young man. This is what we get along. I really love the CS Believer scenes. Number one, they brought back the whole big part of the tourist believer. Because when Emma told him, "You help me believe," and I wouldn't change it for the world. And they have Henry acting like he's actual age, which is always good. So yes, I thought that was a beautiful scene, and we hadn't had a scene like that, I think, since maybe.
Well, no, because remember in the finale he was too busy yelling at Emma for something. I don't
Yeah,
remember.
but that's why I didn't count him, Michelle.
I mean, my feelings on Henry are well known, so I don't really care.
I don't think he genuinely wishes that he never brought her there. Of course not. I think he just feels so guilty that he interfered in her supposedly normal, quiet life and then brought her here. And as a result of that, she regained her powers and became this savior.
Well,
And
no,
now,
again, this is all coming from the fact that they are believing the shady people and that she might die.
he feels guilty that he's exposed her to these consequences that she may not be able to escape. And he genuinely loves his mother. He doesn't want to lose her. He feels like it's his fault. As
Well,
for
no,
the,
it's not his fault. It's Rumpel's fault because Rumpel's a gigantic dick. Let's all blame
I
the
know.
real person who should be to blame here.
I know. I'm just speaking from Henry's headspace. I genuinely enjoyed the scene with them in the cave, and he was there for her in a way which he really hasn't been for a good while. I think she really needed that. Would I have preferred that it was Killian? Maybe, but I think that that particular scene kind of called for him, especially because they haven't really had a lot of interaction in a long while. I think it was really needed. Now, in the scene before that, when not Archie, Queen exposed her secret, and then it immediately cut to Archie leaving and then becoming the Queen. You could hear the argument going on. I would much rather have seen the argument than Queen walking down the fucking stairs. That was seeing the argument and that fallout was much more important and much more
Yeah, but they don't care.
necessary than watching Archie turn into Queen. We already know that it's Queen. It's not like it's a surprise for us. Who fucking cares? I
Although,
would rather.
here's my question. Does everybody else know it was Queen posing as Archie? Did they make that connection? They just
I
know that
think they
Archie's
did.
missing.
They showed her transforming into Archie on screen.
No. We know. I'm talking about the characters. Does Emma and the Charmings and Killian and everybody, do they know that it was Queen
They
Queen
figured it
posing as
out
Archie?
eventually, yes. They figured it out, yes, because Leroy called and said that he went there for an appointment and Archie didn't show up, but Archie's never late.
Well, that just means that Archie's missing. That doesn't mean that doesn't necessarily connect that Queen Queen was Archie.
No,
that just says Archie's missing.
She knows that it was Archie because Archie would not have been at their apartment if he had had an appointment with another client. He is not the type of person to bail on a client. He was not supposed to be there. So that's when she realized that it wasn't Archie, that it was
Yeah, but
Queen.
they never had her actually say Queen. So until they confirm that on screen, I maintain that they don't know. Again, this is something that we should not have to question. That should be explicitly stated on the show. Yes, they figured out it was Queen manipulating them. Again.
And then even worse than that, I'm glad that Emma and Snow finally got a chance to, talk in the same room, like together. But for Snow to be begging her forgiveness, I'm like, oh my God, you're the one that sent the damn cricket to her instead of going to her on your own like a mother should, because you're too busy coddling Regina. Jesus, she doesn't owe you an apology. If anything, you should be the one apologizing to her. Holy
You know
shit.
how they could have done that scene so much better? As if Snow was like, you know what? I messed up. I didn't realize all of this was going on in your life. I am sorry for not noticing, but that would be too logical. And it would make Snow be the bad guy, and we all know.
And the one person she really needs to freaking talk to, and the one person that really, really should be the one that she's having
Lisa, stop interrupting.
With.
Yes, finish your thought.
Like I was saying, like we need a good scene between Snow and Emma, but we haven't gotten it. So a scene of Snow apologizing to Emma for not noticing would have gone a long way to repairing their relationship in the fans' eyes. Because in the show it seems to be so perfect, but as fans we'll see it because she's too busy with Regina.
This is the problem. There's a disconnect between what the writers see and know and what actually comes across on the show. Like the fans think that the relationship between Snow and Emma is messed up and convoluted and not like, a reasonable mother-daughter relationship. But the writers don't see that because they know what's going on in the characters' heads. To them, it's fine for Snow to just ignore the fact that her daughter's having crazy tremors and sending her off to talk to a cricket. So to them, that scene was perfectly fine, even though it's not. Like, their perception of what's coming across on screen and what is coming across on screen to the audience are two different things.
Yeah.
Worse yet, the one person she really needs to talk to, the one person who should be, the most mad at her and who really needs that she really needs to discuss this with, is relegated to brooding in the fucking background the whole time. And then when he finally does get the
okay.
You only need to complain about it once.
Yo, you told me not to interrupt you, and you're doing the exact same thing.
But it's the same exact thing you've said for the last 10 minutes.
Well, we've got the Captain Swan questions are next, where I'm sure we will talk about this in depth. So everyone just relax.
The point I was trying to make was that when he finally does get the chance to actually speak, it seemed like I could tell from the look on his face when he was sitting at that table. There was so much he wanted to fucking say. He wanted to go off, but he couldn't because he felt like the only thing he could do was just be there for her and agree with whatever she was saying, because he didn't want to make her more upset than she was, and he didn't want to appear as though he was going against what the family was saying. I could tell just from the look on his face that he wanted to say so much, and which is what I really hope happens in episode 6. It is needed.
Me too.
Okay, let's go to the next question.
Okay, these are all Captain Swan questions. The first one is from Anonymous. Do you guys think that it went through Killian's head that the only reason Emma asked him to move in was because she has this alleged death sentence hanging over her instead of because she was ready for it? I actually wish the secret had been out before she asked, because I can see how he may possibly think that now.
Personally, I think it was clear from the episode when she decided to ask him that that was not the reason. Actually, she didn't want to ask him because she was dying. So yeah, it really wasn't the case. But I can understand how he's having doubts now, and I hope they clarify.
I mean,
Michelle?
I think in the moment where she asked, obviously he didn't know, so it didn't, come into play. But I can see how maybe he would think that that was a factor at the time, even though we know that had she not had this, who is closing drawers behind us? Seriously.
Not me.
Anyway, what I was saying is that crap, now I lost my train of thought. What was I saying?
You were saying that he was talking about moving in? Killian?
Yeah, that
Okay,
I
maybe
can't remember.
think about
I
it.
lost it.
Think about it a bit. While does anyone else have a different opinion than what
I
we?
do. I do.
Yeah. Go.
Well, I just think that maybe he'll think that maybe it's because of the secrets why she asked him to move in, the whole thing. But I think it's a bit in between. I think she was ready to move in with him, but sometimes she wants. It was that too. It was like in between, because now maybe he'll think maybe that's why she moved. That's why, because he's pissed at her because she hid this from him. That's just as important for her and just as important for him. And he has the right to be angry with her because this is supposed to be a relationship. This is supposed to be based on trust. And that's why after I think this is what we discussed last season when they said after the whole Dark Swan thing, they was gonna still have trust issues in this season they were now. And it's the same thing. They're having these trust issues. That's why she hiding the whole thing about the saber thing, and that's why
Well,
she's hiding the whole thing about the
Well,
whole
no,
shares.
okay, wait. She didn't hide it from him because she didn't trust him. That whole conversation was very badly, that whole thing, that made me so mad because when she was talking about at the end when she apologized for keeping a secret and that she didn't trust him, I'm like, no, that's not what you've been saying this whole time. You specifically said you didn't tell them because you didn't want to worry them. You didn't want them to like look at you like you were a dying person or whatever. You didn't want to burden them with this. Had nothing to do with trust. Like trust and
Yeah,
her stated reason were two completely different things. So where did this trust fuckery come from, writers?
Adam and Eddie.
Like these two things are not the same. And I remember what I was gonna say.
Okay.
That had this secret never been a thing, they would have already been moved in together. And I think Killian deep down understands that. But I can see in light of this and his own now unfortunate secret keeping, where if he got into an argument about it, that he would maybe voice that opinion that maybe she just asked him because she was afraid she was going to die. He doesn't actually really believe that, but I can see in a possible discussion about it that he would actually like maybe voice that fear, even though he knows it's not real. That's what I was going to say.
Mm.
Okay.
Exactly. He's never doubted, that she loves him and that she wants to be there with him. She had said as much at the end of season 5 that she was ready, to take the step with him. That once they got out of hell, that's what she wanted. She wanted their future. She wanted the house. For some reason, though, she just, when season 6 started, she neglected to say, okay, time. I mean, we all thought they would already be moved in after all that shit, but I guess he wanted to be certain that was what she wanted. Did it come at a bad time? Yes, but I don't think he's going to question it. I think he's going to be more angry about the fact that she chose not to tell him something so massive. This is what I'm hoping to see in the next episode. That if there is a confrontation about these shears, that she has a right to be angry if he didn't tell her, but he has much more of a right to be to keep him in the dark. Because so far,
Well,
especially
no, I think they have an equal right to be angry.
Yes,
right, but
I
I
agree
mean,
with that.
Equal
watching
footing.
watching episode 5, I really started to see how I was like, oh my god, it feels like Killian does not have his own voice. When she asked him even something as simple as, do you want Chinese food or pizza? He says to her, I mean, and yes, it's a very romantic thing, whatever your heart, wants. But it's like, dude, you do have your own mind, your own heart, your own decisions. You can be angry at her.
Okay.
You don't have to go along with everything she says.
We have a question about the specific thing, so let's get it out there. Anonymous says, I felt so sad for Killian in this episode. He seems like a fish out of water in these family group scenes. Maybe he feels like he's just not good enough or belongs around these people. Like voicing his opinion would be the worst crime in the world. He's never had that problem before, and I just got that vibe from this episode. Meanwhile, every single person in that room is a fuck up, so he shouldn't feel like that. Beavis and Butthead reduced him to eye candy so they can rate their spa scene.
Okay, actually, I don't think he's afraid of voicing his opinion. I think he has a very different perspective on things than everyone else in the room. So even if he were to advocate for the cynical and, in my opinion, practical point of view, people wouldn't listen. The others, the charmings, wouldn't listen because they are stuck in that mentality of hope and we'll find another way and whatever.
Also, sorry to cut you off, but also it has been pointed out that this is Killian's MO. He always waits until Emma's alone to question her motives about something. And he never really got a chance to do that in this episode because she was always hanging out with the fam. Just like point this out.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that's right. Go on, Mike.
and like I said, it's more of a writing issue there. Oh, we can get this. They don't need to talk about it now. They can talk about it in his centric.
Exactly.
Let's do that.
Mm-hmm.
Because they want,
So,
they wanted to save it for his centric. That's why it wasn't in
because
this
he's
episode.
never been afraid to call others on their bullshit. Remember how he called Regina's plan so stupid, and it turned out that it was really stupid. So it's not that he's afraid or that he doesn't have a voice. He clearly has a voice. The writer just shows that he looks better as a moping puppy in the background.
And he
Mhm.
shouldn't
mean-
have been.
I mean, it's frustrating to see him just brooding in the background when I know for a fact he's got very strong opinions, and the fact that 0 people have brought up the fact that his first love was literally murdered in front of him, and that Emma is telling him that in this vision he just stands there while she gets stabbed. That I'm like, hello, people. Could someone please mention this? I mean, I want to be hopeful that's going to get mentioned in the next episode, but I'm not optimistic.
Especially if
I'm
you,
hopeful
if you,
but realistic at the same time.
especially if you look at the blocking. I was looking at the still of the scene where she's explaining to them the details of the vision. It's in the same scene where Regina seems to be more concerned about why she's not there. They posted a still, which was a much more wider shot of the whole room, and you could see everybody on one side. You have Henry, Jasmine, Regina, Snow, Charming, and you have Killian by himself on the other side with his head. Every scene that they're in where it concerns they're discussing the shears or her destiny, it seems like Killian is on the outside. I could sense it, especially when the scene where she was giving him the shears and apologizing for not being more honest. You could sense it in the look in his eyes and the way his face was drawn. He wanted to explode. I could see it in his face. He was ready to pop off on her. But I think he felt like he could not say anything because he wants to be there as her lover, he doesn't want to be contradictory. He doesn't want to make the situation any worse than it already is. He doesn't want to contradict what her parents are saying or what Henry's saying. He doesn't want to seem like that voice of dissent.
But no, it's like,
this
is
why
what I was just saying. That's not how Killian does things. When he has a strong opinion like this, and I was very, very frustrated when the episode was over. Anybody who was on my Tumblr is aware that I was making the exact same criticism, Lisa. I was like, what the
I
fuck?
know. I wrote it.
But then I thought about it, and it's like, wait a minute. This is how Killian does things. He waits until he gets her alone when everybody else is gone. He did it in the season 2 finale. He did it in Camelot. That's just how he did it when they were off to track down Selena, and right before they fall through the portal, that he calls her out on her shit, but he does it when they're alone. And he never got her alone until the end. And yeah, they had the last shot of him with the shears and for the angst, whatever, but the angst is clearly not going to last that long, I'm pretty sure. But that's just more for oh my god dramas, tune in next week kind of crap, rather than something that actually makes sense.
when he was sitting at that table and she was telling him that she was sorry that she wasn't more honest, and she went to put her hand on his hand, it made me remember back in season 4 when her parents were telling her the truth about the secret that they kept. And he went to put his hand on her hand to give her comfort, and she ripped her hand away from his because she was so upset about this secret. I almost thought that he was going to do the same thing.
Oh, because I'm not gonna lie. When I saw it,
was I the only one that got that sense that he looked like he was about to explode? He literally looked like he was about to explode.
I saw it, and I seriously would not have been surprised. If I were writing the scene, I totally would have had Killian like just get up and walk out. That he's like, I can't, basically, and then she finally runs after him and she's like, what is wrong with you? And then he's like, I can't listen to you martyr yourself. That he's finally like, Mila was murdered in front of me and you're sitting here talking about just letting some crazy thing kill you. I'm sorry, I can't listen to you kill yourself.
And I'm pretty sure
that's what I want.
I think that's gonna come. I'm hopefully optimistic that that's gonna come on tomorrow. I'm not expecting it, but I'm cautiously optimistic, especially considering this sneak peek.
Because we all do, sort of agree that the fact that Mila was murdered in front of him, and Killian has a unique perspective on this, that it's probably something that should be discussed. That it's just frustrating to me that they keep bringing up all these secrets and they never give them any time to like talk. I just want, why are the writers allergic to seeing people just talk? This is what I want to know.
I don't know.
But it's mostly an Adam and Eddie problem, because if you see, Jane's episode was mostly talking.
Yeah, I'm like, I just
exactly.
Talking about their issues.
Like, I just want them to sit next to each other in their house or whatever, anywhere, and just like really hash this out. Like Killian's, while he respects her right to make her choice, he thinks her choice is dumb, or that her choice that he doesn't agree is making it, she's not really like considering all the possibilities, and that she's not really, I don't want to say she's not thinking about how her death would affect other people, but that, the fact that she knows for a fact Mila was murdered in front of him, and that she then trusts him to get rid of the one thing that their reason that they think can save her, might be asking a bit too much of him, if you know what I'm talking about. Does that make sense?
This is why I was very gratified of that little additional writing choice when she was talking to Snow, in the background when you saw him leaning against the counter with Charming that he was holding his flask. That's a very Killian thing, that he was dealing with this revelation by imbibing, because that's his way, kind of. And it's really the first time I think we've seen him drink in any significant manner in a very long time.
Yeah, I think that was more of Colin thing there rather than a writing thing.
Yeah. That's one of the nuances that Colin brings to the character. And don't get me wrong, Colin and Jen were both phenomenal in this episode. Like, they were great. Like, their performances keep me riveted. It's just the writing choices that I mostly vehemently disagree
Yeah, I
with.
have to give it to Colin. Like, every award in the book for the fact that he had very few lines in this episode, and yet he was able to communicate so much emotion without hardly any words at all, just by visual cues and facial cues, body, the language of his body just communicated such an amazing amount of emotion and tone. It's a testament to his acting skills that he managed to pull so much out of those scenes, even though he had next to no lines.
And for the people who are wondering about the lying at the end, they've shown repeatedly that Emma's lie detector doesn't work with Killian because she trusts him. So let's just it only really works on people that she doesn't know well.
And there's a difference when and it's not something that's always on you. The line thing is not something that goes, oh, I automatically know you're lying. No, he has to focus on it. It's not a real skill. It's not a real magic power. It's an acquired skill.
Yeah.
That's why when he uses it on suspects, it works. And it's always when she tries to focus, when she's focusing. When she thinks she's alone or with family, she's not thinking about it. So that's why it doesn't quote unquote work.
Yeah, that's also true. So we've got another question about this. It's from Hooked on Killian for Life 28. Question for the next podcast. I think the reason we did not see Emma and Killian talk to each other about Emma keeping her death from him is because we're going to see more about that in the rest of the season. What do you guys think?
It's episode 6 for me.
I agree with Daniela. I think we are gonna hear more about it in the next episode, but then they're going to drop it.
Yeah,
pretty much.
I agree.
Okay, that was quick.
Colin himself said in the latest interview that he did that it was going to be resolved pretty efficiently, I think, by the end of this upcoming episode.
Okay,
well,
so
let's hope so.
Yes, honestly, next episode is about Killian and the family. And when I mean the family, I mean Emma and Henry.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
So
that's what I love about this episode.
Okay, we've got spoiler questions later. We've got one more question on CS, and this one's fun. So we can take a break from the serious discussion. It's from Anonymous, and it says, what are your preferred top 3 locations for CS banging?
The house.
Michelle, I think you should start.
I already said mine, so just continue yours.
Well, number 1, clearly a bed. I mean, hello. Number 2, the bug. Whether it's in the bug, on the hood of the bug, I don't care. And number 3, the captain's quarters in the Jolly Roger. Duh.
Okay, I'm going to me. Okay, obviously a bed. I don't care the bed where it's the bed. I don't care if Granny's their house, like Jolly Roger. It's the bed. Number 2, Jolly Roger. Any surface of the Jolly Roger doesn't have to be the captain's quarters. I'll be happy with any surface of the Jolly Roger, and I think they'd be happy too.
The wheel of the Jolly Roger.
Yeah, the wheel. Because I think they're accessory. Because I mean, I know both of them, and they're both pretty much exhibitionists. So they would get so high on the whole, technically on the outside, you know?
Yeah, let's take the Jolly Roger out into the bay a little bit and drop the anchor.
And just rock the
Yep.
boat.
And number 3, let me think about it. Any exterior surface. I'd be happy with any exterior surface, like the car. Well, not the beach because the sand would get
Yeah,
all over them.
sand.
Not
bad.
good.
Ugh, no.
And not the
Obviously.
shower, because shower sex is dangerous, people. As my
Yeah.
friend Crystal says, shower sex is very dangerous. Shower foreplay would be great. Shower sex is dangerous.
I know. I don't know. Okay. Moving on.
For me, I would have to say number 1, any horizontal surface in their house. Any. 2,
Why does that have to be horizontal? What about the wall?
vertical. 2,
Yes.
anywhere on the Jolly Roger. I want to see her just once test the limits of her magic, put up a cloaking spell on that ship, and just go to town.
Fuck the cloaking spell.
or not a like a D sounding spell, so she won't like wake up the whole town or whatever. Then 3,
I think she gets
Yeah.
3, I want to see her test how quickly they can get it on in her office at the sheriff's station without her father walking in.
Or Henry, please. No.
Maybe the desk or the chair in her office at the sheriff's station on a lunch break, trying to time it so that, you know, after her father leaves to go meet Snow for lunch, they have like an hour where they can just do it before he comes back. I kind of want to see if they can do it in that shortened period of time, and then, you know, be all fully clothed and acting like nothing happened at all by the time that her father comes.
Yeah.
So
please,
basically,
no.
like teenagers.
Yeah, but mature.
Well,
I
I
would
got a
I would
spot.
I would
The
seriously
kitchen
pay
table.
I would pay good money for just one scene of Emma walking around their house in nothing but Killian's black pirate shirt.
Oh,
Me
yes.
too.
Yes.
And Killian walking around in a pair of low-slung sweats, slumps low on his hips, and nothing else.
Oh
I
God.
should say,
My
I
brains.
still want my scene of him walking down the stairs of their house while the family's making breakfast.
Oh yeah.
That's what I wished for in the episode before when her father was making the pancakes. I wanted Killian to come walking down these stairs in a pair of nothing but sweats with his hair all messed up, and then David looks, oh shit, you know, like that awkward moment. Oh, that would have been awesome.
I would laugh forever if that happened, girl.
Okay, let's go to the next question then.
You don't have any opinions, Serena?
I think you all said everything. I don't think there are any other. So since our rule is not to repeat anything, I'm just going to say that you
Okay.
covered everything.
All right. So now we are finally to the spoiler questions. So if you are avoiding spoilers, turn this off now.
Yes.
Okay. So the first one is from Anonymous. In an AU scenario where the curse is never cast and Emma grows up in the Enchanted Forest with her family, how would you go about inserting Killian into the story so he and Princess Emma can meet and fall in love in that reality? And that, of course, is based on speculation as to what is going on in episode 10.
I mean, I think that if I'm just hearing my voice twice. I'm sorry. If Emma had grown up, someone correct me on the timeline if I'm wrong. But if Emma had grown up in the Enchanted Forest, Killian would have been about 30 years older than her, wouldn't he?
Well, that's if he comes out of Neverland at the same time. If they have him wait to come out of Neverland for another 30 years, then he'd still be the same age he
Yes.
is now.
Yeah.
So but since the question was about uh, what would go on if Emma grew up in the Enchanted Forest, I would say it would be a May December Captain Fun romance, I guess.
No, I think they'd adjust it so he comes out of Neverland later. If it's
Yeah.
if it's a Regina makes a wish situation to bring back Robin or whatever bullshit is going on, then they'll just fudge it so that he comes out of Neverland later and he's still. I mean, that's what happened in the alternate reality that Rumpel had the author, right? I mean, Killian was still the same age,
Exactly.
so
Agreed.
Actually,
they would just fudge it.
Actually, I have a question.
Yes.
I've not been following the spoilers really closely. What are actually the hints, the proof we have that they are doing that in starting? What was it? Episode 10?
Well, the title first, Wish You Were Here.
Okay.
Robin, of course, is around, and JMO just posted a picture of herself in a bed that looks like it's from the Enchanted Forest.
I did
And
not
she's
see
wearing
it.
something decidedly like a poofy
Princessy.
sleeved shoulder type nightgown. And her
Like-
hair looks decidedly different.
Yeah.
I did not notice that. I was just focused on the fact that your emo was in the bed.
Now,
I'm gonna
now
look for
the
it.
thing, the harder part is if it's a curse where she grows up in the Enchanted Forest, are they going to age up Joss and Ginny? Because if Emma is 30 years old in the Enchanted Forest, then her parents should be like 60.
I
Yeah.
just saw it. That's right. She does look different. Like her hair looks different.
Yeah, and Regina will be 70.
I thought she looked different, but I was just focused on the whole bed.
I mean, I'm sure they'll just hand wave it and say magic. It's just if it's Regina making a wish, that she can make it however she wants. You know what I mean? Or the genie can just make it however they want. That they can have everybody be the age they are now, even though it logically makes no sense.
Do we think that she's laying in the bed because she's under a sleeping curse?
No. I'm violently against the sleeping curse theory. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't think
I
so.
have the only clue for me for this whole thing you guys are talking about for the episode 10, I think, is because they saw them be in behind the scenes pictures of Regina and the dwarves wearing Enchanted Forest costumes. That must be the clue too.
Yeah. Now, as for how Killian would come into all of this and meet Emma and fall in love with her yet again, I'm rather fond of him just showing up at Snow and Charming's castle and trying to steal something, and that's may or may not be because I wrote a fic like that.
Well,
Yeah.
him as a charming scoundrel? Is that what you said? It's cut out.
Oh, that he's trying to steal something from their castle.
Yes, I mean, if they don't change anything else, and he came out Neverland later, yes, pirate and princess, please.
Amen.
Yes, I will love that.
Everyone who's ever written a Lieutenant Duckling fic will finally see their fantasies come true.
Yeah, I know. Thinking.
No. This would be
Not
Captain
quite.
Duckling. It would be Captain
Captain
Duckling and
Duckling.
CB Hook.
Still,
Yeah, Captain
still.
That's different. Captain Duckling and Lieutenant Duckling, completely different dynamics. I know, I've written both.
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling that Adam and Eddie and the writers have been reading some fan fiction. Because that's what a good idea.
Maybe it can only improve the show. So possible. Do we have another question?
Yes, these next two are both from Rams, who's not here. Hey guys, I'm really excited about the upcoming Hook-centric and Wet Hook. I watched the second sneak peek with Captain Nemo and found it really cool. I'm curious to see what's going on with Nemo and how he ends up in the land of untold stories. I suspect Killian did something bad to Captain Nemo in the past, going by his previous centrics, and that he will work to correct this in the present. If Captain Nemo ended up in the land of untold stories, maybe Killian caused him to lose the Nautilus. And then her second part is the writers and Colin also hinted at some family connection aboard the Nautilus, and I immediately jumped to the idea of Liam 2.0, but the timeline would make that near impossible. Not that that's a problem for the writers. And maybe Liam 2.0 ended up in the land of untold stories with Captain Nemo. Anyway, it'll have to be interesting to see what the writers have in store for us.
Are you done?
Yes.
Okay, number one, I don't care about Liam 2.0. I'm pretty sure in the writers don't either.
Amen.
Yeah, I don't care about Liam 2.0. I don't care about
Liam
the
1.0.
original Liam. I don't care about Killian's
High five,
character.
Serena, high
Like,
five.
his whole family is just made of fail, so it's a good thing he has a new one, because the old one sucks.
We still don't know what happened to Mama Jones. I really want to know what happened to
Yes.
Mama Jones. Hopefully she
Yeah, I
doesn't
think
suck.
Mama Jones has to be the redeeming quality.
She
Because-
can't be
Exactly.
worse.
Yeah, because, I mean, you have to explain how Killian came out to be the way he is. And
Yeah,
I'm banking on Mama Jones.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
got to come from Mama
Because the other
Jones,
ones are
because-
shit tits.
Yeah, Papa Jones sucks.
Exactly.
Liam is
Mhm.
awesome but flawed.
Mhm.
And
Because Lord knows
Yeah.
he did not get that endearing sense of loyalty to the death from his father
no.
at all.
I don't know,
Almost certain
Mama.
that he got that from his mother and from his brother. Yes, I would very much like to see, when he was little, who
Well,
his
more
mother
from his
was,
mother, I'd say.
what happened to her, all of that stuff. But,
Yeah, it's like
I can't forget in that sneak peek when Nemo mentioned that the one thing he was lacking was family, and just the look on Killian's face. Like it went from being like cocky, and then he just dropped, and I was like, oh God, this poor guy. Desperate for something, but so wrapped up, desperate for family, desperate to feel some connection to something, but is so wrapped up in revenge and his own grief that he can't pull his way out of it.
Well, it's like Killian said, it takes meeting the right person. Captain Nemo is clearly not the right person.
Thank God.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure he was too into the revenge phase at that moment.
He was too.
That nothing he could have said that would have worked.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will say something. It's good to have an actor in this show, other than maybe Josh Dallas, who remembers his previous characterization and knows how to go back to it.
Yes. Amen.
Unlike
That's one thing you gotta love about Colin. He can flawlessly slip back and forth from angry Hook, pirate Hook, all the way, from present day hero Hook back to pirate Hook like that without even a second thought.
That's
Yeah,
why Colin needs to get an Oscar for this.
I'm excited for the flashbacks. I'm excited for Captain Nemo and all that stuff. I don't know. I mean, I agree with Serena. We're never going to see Liam 2.0 again. That's never going to come up.
But I'm more
pretty sure the
excited
writers
to see.
forgot.
What I'm more excited to see, which I think they've hinted to in the thing with Henry, is that we're finally going to get the domestic scenes that we've been wanting for a long, long time. Now, before anybody goes, launching into a rail against why is Henry being stupid? Okay. He loves Hook. Okay, that's not even a question. I think that, like any other teenagers reserve the right to be emo and to have emotional ups and downs. Okay, maybe he's feeling a little left out now that Killian's finally moved in and all her attention's on him. Maybe he's feeling a little left out.
Okay.
I could tell from the look on his face when he was taking that trash out that something happened before that scene that caused him to be pissed off. And it's probably, maybe he doesn't like their public displays of affection. Maybe he thinks that she's spending too much time with him and not with.
But no, okay, wait. Here's my problem with that sneak peek. My problem isn't Henry being emo, even though I give less than two shits about Henry being emo, and it tends to bring out his inner Silkskin. My problem is the angle the evil queen is using. You are absolutely right. There's plenty of things for Henry to be angsting about in this new living situation, but that's not the one she chose. She chose he's going to hurt you. He doesn't care about you. He's gonna, betray you and Emma, whatever. When that is patently false, and Henry knows it's patently false. Like he's seen Killian die for him like 3 times. So that if she wanted to say, he's gonna try to replace Bagel. Emma and Killian are gonna start their own family and leave you out. Blah blah blah. If she just said that, that scene would be fine. But she didn't. It's the angle the evil queen is taking in trying to play on Henry's insecurities that is my beef, not Henry having a beef. Because I totally called Henry was going to have a beef like weeks ago.
That's why I'm not surprised that he would say, well, he's not my father, because Hook is not trying to be his father. Not in that way. He would never want to replace Bay. He wants to be Henry's friend first and foremost, and maybe as time goes on, once they get more used to this whole living together as a family thing, if it's all right with Henry, he could maybe try to be a stepfather, a parental figure. But
see, the thing is that they've never taken the time to, before this, to sort of focus on Killian as a potential authority figure. That their scenes have been so fleeting that they haven't had a chance for this dynamic to like take root and for us to think of them that way. So it's like coming out of nowhere.
Yes,
this is why I'm hoping.
That's
why I'm hoping in this episode to see those domestic scenes. I think we're going to get some domestic scenes that will lead into that.
But they're too late now. The sneak peeks are always at the beginning of the episode, dear, which means we're going to have like one scene of this before suddenly it's called out. And it's like, no, that's not how storytelling works. You need to build this up over several episodes. And they didn't. It's like this charming thing that's getting dumped.
We didn't get the scene with Henry and Hook playing with swords. So we got something.
But that's different. That's them being friends. That's not Killian as a potential authority figure. Being his friend and being a potential authority figure, i.e. a stepdad, are completely different things. And they haven't even attempted to broach that dynamic yet. And now suddenly Henry's angsting about it. Do you understand what I'm saying? That they didn't.
Henry's the next thing you know, asshole.
They haven't built this up, so it just pops up out of nowhere because the plot dictates it must pop up out of nowhere.
Yes, but again, you're expecting them to be really good writers, and they're just not.
It's like we said. It's like what he said to Killian in the alternate universe in the season 4 finale when he said, I had a good teacher, you, and I'm like, when did this happen? We'd seen them together a grand total of like 3 times before that.
That happened in season 3
and Killian didn't even have the Jolly Roger until 5 minutes before this happened. So when the hell did Killian have a chance to teach Henry how to sail the Jolly Roger? It made no sense. It sounded good,
okay.
But it made no sense.
I have an idea for that. He stole a boat during the season 3 when they were together and taught him.
He could have taught Henry to sail on just about any ship there in the port.
But he specifically said the Jolly Roger. Like the only person Henry sailed the Jolly Roger with is Bagel. Way back in season 2.
Again, more off-camera shit.
This is what I'm saying. So much crap happens off screen that when we finally see it on screen, it appears to us, the audience, like it's coming out of nowhere.
Which is the only thing that pisses me off of this whole show.
And now we're hearing that the charming plot that they built up at Comic-Con said it was going to be a big deal is getting pushed back. I'm like, really? Bye-bye, charming plot.
Pushed back to the back episodes?
It's getting pushed back somewhere. No, okay, they said it was in Oh God! It was in the Natalie Abrams spoiler room. They asked about somebody asked about Charming and the Vengeance, and he said, and Adam said that it wasn't going to play out right away. The mystery itself was getting pushed back, and it might play into the dynamic between Snow and Charming, but they're not actually going to get into the mystery of who killed Charming's dad and it's going to be later in the season. He said, and whenever he says that, it inevitably means that the storyline is going to get dropped entirely.
Like Lily said later in the season.
Exactly.
Like Robin's backstory.
Like Graham's.
Scarlet.
All
Working
they
on the
promised would
same
happen,
show.
and then did not.
Exactly. I don't know.
And the station, they kept promising, oh yes, inform me. It's totally gonna be inform me. Not.
Exactly.
This is what I keep talking about them having storytelling ADD, and they get distracted by shiny new toys when they have perfectly fine toys to play with.
Oh, okay,
Exactly.
let's say it like it is. They get distracted by a lot of whining. Oh, I don't have enough screen time.
Okay. But now
It's
the
true.
Land of Untold Stories people to play with. And so rather than deal with the very real interpersonal drama that this family has, rather than deal with that in a real way, where it's fairy tale characters in the real world, they just want to do it through the lens of these other people. And it's like, no, I don't care about those people. I care about these people.
Okay, let's go to the next question.
That was it. We're done.
Oh, okay. That was quicker than I expected. Do you guys have any last comments on the episode or on the spoilers?
Wet Killian.
I love Jasmine. I love Jasmine's and Aladdin's costume. It was on point, including Jafar's. And for the next episode, this tomorrow, I am so excited
I
to
will
see
say
it.
I will say something on that note. Eduardo Castro, he's had more misses than hits with the recent princess costumes, except for Cinderella's sister. Most of them have been kind of shitty. Like Elsa was very cosplay, and Meredith was the same. But this one, oh my god, this one was beautiful. And actually fit in
I want to know why Aladdin was wearing a shirt.
Oh yeah, I said Jasmine's, not Aladdin's.
I mean, Jasmine was fine, but why was Aladdin wearing a shirt? All he wears is a vest. They're in the Middle East. It's hot. You don't need a shirt.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you people?
Come on, take the shirt
I
off.
don't know.
Also, I take an issue with there not being any approved. What the fuck, man?
Well, they
Why is
had
there no
they
approved?
had the little monkey statue in the cave.
I don't need a little monkey statue.
That
I need a
was-
boo.
That was that was their little tip off to Abu. I guess
Yeah,
there
so
was
they
no
could-
genie. There was no genie either. But we just have to deal. It can't be exact. They can only afford so much crappy CGI per episode, and they couldn't afford to do
but
genie.
we know for a fact that the lamp is coming into play because there's a picture of Aladdin with the lamp in Storybrooke. So clearly the genie plays a role somewhere. Whether it's Jafar as a genie or it's
Cyrus.
the genie or whatever. But yeah, so my main
No, they don't remember. Cyrus is in England.
Yeah, so
I
my main things are why was Aladdin wearing a shirt for the next episode? Wet Killian. Just give me all the Wet Killian. I don't care about anything.
Wet Killian. Wet Killian.
Okay, I'm all about the Aladdin and Emma friendship. Give me more of that. Yes, give me more of that. And Emma. Give me all the Aladdin and Emma scenes, please.
I enjoyed the Aladdin and Jasmine. I'm glad that Emma's Secret finally came out because it was something that was long overdue for her to finally tell them. But I just did not like the editing. I thought there was a lot of scenes in there that didn't need to be in there. I thought there was too many flashbacks, and I also just thought that they didn't give Killian enough to do, and I was like, this is really ridiculous. The one person that she needed to be talking to, she didn't even get a chance to fucking top two.
I thought of something else that we didn't talk about. When Emma was all hopeful that they were going to find Aladdin alive, she's talking to Archie. Well, talking to to Archie, but she's really talking to the Evil Queen. She basically confirmed that if Aladdin had been found alive, that she had no intention of telling her family. And I'm like, really? That's the angle they wanted her to go with this? Really? So in a sense, I'm not really upset that the Evil Queen forced her hand, but I'm really
Like I said,
disappointed
it's Adam in any way.
that Emma was actually going to not fess up at all if her plan had worked out. I'm like, really? That's not cool.
It's
I suppose.
I mean, it's Adam in any writing. It's this Killington.
I suppose she figured that if Aladdin was alive, that she could talk to him. They could figure it out together, and then it would never really become an issue.
Yeah,
it
but
would no
still,
longer be something she would have to worry about.
That's
fighting.
not the point.
I know, because it would just give her like more reason. It would reinforce this notion that when things got tough, that she didn't have to share it.
Exactly.
She can continue lying about things, and that has to stop.
Which is why when I heard that, I was like, oh man.
Definitely,
I
hope the lie needs to stop.
Because Killian also has to stop doing it. Secrets. Both of them have to stop keeping it.
Yeah.
This is why I am ready for him to pop off. I know, if it happens that she finds out that he kept these shears and she gets mad, I want him to get just as mad. I know a lot of us, when we watched 5-8 and we saw him yelling at her about turning him into the Dark One, we were all like, oh my goodness. But there was a lot of things that he said that rang true. And he did the exact same thing here. He needs to be able to say his piece. That yes, I went against your wishes to get rid of these shears, but you didn't freaking tell me that you were gonna die. You thought that it was okay to not say 2 damn words about the fact that you were destined to die after I just came back from hell. I mean,
okay, those are 2 different things, though, Lisa.
Completely.
I mean, in season 5, she kept a secret about him. He had a right to know because it was about him. It involved him in the first person. In this season, she kept a secret about herself. And a really traumatic one of that. And now he is keeping a secret also about Emma.
About her.
Those are 2 different
Something
things.
that could hurt her.
Keeping something to yourself that involves you dying is different than keeping a secret that involves you doing something to someone else.
Okay,
I wasn't talking.
On some level, it does involve Killian, though, because she's trying to build a life with him. They're trying to be partners. They're trying to build a life together. Her dying affects him.
Yeah, of course it affects it affects everyone, but it's still something about her. She wasn't keeping a secret that she had found out he was gonna die. It was something she needed to process for herself, and she took how many days? I don't even actually know, but it was like a week, less than that. I mean, if you heard about
But then the writers showed that she had no intention of telling them if her plan with Aladdin had worked out okay, and that's not cool.
I mean,
here's what I want. I want them to have about this. I don't need people to be shouty and mad. I need them to have a real, honest adult conversation about this, about their past as loners and whatnot directly affect how they're interacting with each other, and it's something they need to sort out together. Is what
that's right. Because
screaming, no. Oh, you ruined my life. Because guess what? Right now, he's on the shit list because the shears could do a lot of damage. We don't know what the shears really do, so they can do a lot of damage in the wrong hands.
Well, yeah, but it's not like he's planning on using them on her.
I understand why.
I mean, if I was him, okay. Here's the thing: when Emma made the choice to save him against his will, we were all like, Okay, bad choice because you're taking away the free will of the person you love. But if I was in Emma's shoes, I would have made the exact same choice. And this is again, this is like that where Killian, bad move, dude. You should probably talk about this. But if I was him in that moment where I have the one thing in my hand that I think can save the one I love when everybody else I love has been murdered in front of me, yeah, I'm not going to get rid of it.
Yeah,
Sorry.
but
So
Honestly,
I
I'm not
actually
saying
don't even think it did like what he did was wrong. I mean, I also would have done the same thing. Like I probably would have
me
done
too.
the thing Emma did last season. That's not the problem. It was the smart one. Everyone else was dumb. But the end. What I was objecting to was if Emma tells him, hey, you should have done that because we decided otherwise, that he should have started yelling at her about the secret she kept, because that's not what a relationship should be like. It shouldn't be about keeping score. Yeah, you lied to me 2 times, but I lied to you 3 times, so that means
yes.
I get one free lie. That's not what this is about.
It's
If
not.
Exactly. That was
he
me.
hasn't forgiven her for the lie, he should tell her now, and they should discuss it.
I
But
absolutely agree with that.
but the
Yeah.
mistakes they both made in the past shouldn't be used as a gotcha, like trump card, for their future arguments. That's not what healthy
Yeah.
relationship
They're
should be.
not Regina, for fuck's
That
sake.
Yeah.
that's not what I'm trying to say, and I don't
Well,
think
it
he would
sounds
ever.
like that's what you're trying to say.
I don't think he would
Yeah,
ever
it is.
use their past argument because he's already forgiven her for all the dark one stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
okay, it's obvious I was the only one that noticed this, or maybe it was just me that felt it. But when he was sitting at that table and she said that she would choose to pay that price and not cut away her magic and pay whatever price that entailed up to and including getting killed. The look on his face, the look in his eyes, he looked like he was ready to explode. And
Yeah, but
What
he did
I'm
the
saying,
same
wait,
thing.
I
wait.
saw it
Can
too.
I
I,
please finish? Can I please finish?
But Lisa, it's the same argument
No,
you
no,
made
no,
the
May,
entire
May, May,
podcast.
May, let her
Hey,
finish. Let her
Here.
finish, May.
y'all guys go on about not wanting to be cut off. Let me finish, please. He looked like he was so ready to explode. When she put her hand on his, I was fully expecting him to pull it away and to go walking out that door. He looked like he was ready to just pop off, but he didn't say anything because I think he felt it wasn't his place to be contradictory in that moment. But I could tell he wanted to. Every part of his being wanted to. He was so
yeah,
upset.
but that has nothing to do with the secrets she just kept. That has to do with her making the choice about the shears. Those are two different things.
Right.
Plus,
So
Like
when he
that he's already, I mean, he was probably clearly upset that she lied, but
he's upset and
he's already forgiven her for that.
he's
This is now of being upset about her rejecting the one thing that can save her life.
right.
That's a completely separate issue.
He's forgiven her, but that doesn't mean he's not upset. Killian's the type of person who stews on those things and generally keeps it inside. Like you said, he tends to want to do these things when they're alone instead of with a group of people. So whenever we get to that scene, which we inevitably will, like Colin was saying, towards the end of the episode, in the article he said it would be towards the end of the episode they would be confronting this shears issue. I think I'm not saying he's going to use her past transgressions against her, but I do believe he has every right to be upset. I'm not saying it's going to descend into a shouting match, because that's not the type of people that they are. The only reason that he got to that point in season 5 it was because he was a dark one. But if it happened, he has every right to be upset because she's willing to give up her life knowing what he's already been through watching the person that he
I-
loved die in front of him without even
it's not about
bothering to
him.
yes it is. Oh my
No, it
god.
isn't.
Yes
Her
it
giving up
is.
her
She is
life.
she is
Her,
consciously ignoring the fact that they are in a relationship. Her mother even said it to her face. Look, it's not just about you. You're trying to start something with him and you're consciously keeping him out of it. He is her
yes.
true love, the love of her life. She damn sure is supposed to be telling him all of these things. She
Yeah,
has
but
every
I'm not
right to
talking
be
about
included in that.
that. Lisa, her choosing to give up her life is not about him losing her. If she does that, it's because she wants to save him, her son, her family, all of Storybrooke.
That's not
It's
what I'm.
not
That's not what
about
I'm.
him.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the decision to do so, making that on her own and consciously saying that I was never going to tell them in the first place, leaving them completely out of it. That's what's bullshit. Because she
Well, we
already.
don't know that because okay, yes, it was a throwaway line by Adam and Eddie. Okay,
But
we know from the previous episodes that the reason she didn't want to tell them was because she didn't want to burden them, not because oh I'm never gonna kill them. That was just Adam and Eddie being bullshitters.
yeah, but what I was trying to say is that yes, she made the decision. She's making right now the decision to give up her life if necessary, and she doesn't need to ask everyone else's permission to do
I'm not
so.
saying that she does, but she should at least discuss with them what was going on. He is the love of her life, the man that she's supposed to be spending the rest of her life with, and she doesn't even bother to say two words. And she wasn't going to either. Once she realized the possibility that there was another savior out there, she wasn't going to tell him a damn thing. She was going to keep him
She
out of it, and that's wrong. That is flat
No
out
one is
wrong.
saying no one is saying that she did the right thing in keeping a secret. However, the fact that she did that was because she was dealing with almost certain death. And I mean, when he last season gave up his life for everyone else for Storybrooke, that wasn't a thing that he asked everyone's permission to do. He did it because that's who he is.
Yeah,
He
I
gives
they
up.
know.
weren't mad at
He
him at
gives
that
up.
point.
He gives up.
I'm not saying that at first she was wrong for not saying anything. Of course, she needed some time to come to grips with this major thing. Yes, that's fine. But the fact that after a week passes and she still has decided not to say anything and she's coming up with excuse after excuse to the
I'm
point
sorry, but
where
it's the
to the point where now she decides she's not going to say anything to them at all, and it's only when Queen pretends to be Archie and forces her fucking hand that she finally says something.
okay.
It
Here's
was
the
a
thing.
week she had to deal
Yes,
with almost certain death. I don't think that's something to just throw in her face. I don't think Killian is the type of person who would throw that in her face. Anyway,
I
we are
know
going in
that
circles. We are
I
going
know
in
that he's not, but
circles.
it's still it feels like she's still
Lisa,
shutting him out.
you asked not to interrupt, but you just did it to me like twice. I think everyone has said what they think, at least you and I did. So, does anyone else have something to add to this conversation?
Not me. You guys said everything you had that I would have said, but in a different angle.
I am thankful that Em and Eddie are not writing the actual conversation where they talk about this.
that's why I'm glad
Yes,
it wasn't in this episode because it
I
would
would
have
rather it
sucked.
be I would rather it be
Uh-huh.
Jane. At least Jane would do it justice.
Well, Jane's
Yes,
not
but
writing it either if it happens in this episode.
she's
Who
writing
is
the
writing?
next episode. Heartless. Heartless is the one she's writing. This is the seventh episode. This one is somebody else. It's Bridget Hale.
I think Bridget's on this one. Oh dear God.
Yeah, I think so. With someone else, maybe Andrew Chambliss, as
If
something that.
Andrew's there, then I have a little bit more hope that it's gonna be okay.
Which
But
what episode that had Bridget done?
Andrew, Jane, and Bridget are maybe must have been the only writers who are good in this show for me.
Um, I like the other guy. I like the one that wrote the other shoe. And it's not Andrew, it was somebody else.
Jeremy. Sorry.
Okay, I
Which
think
one has question written?
Mm-hmm.
okay, I think that's it for this podcast. Does anyone want to
Yes.
add anything else?
No.
No?
Nobody.
Just that Aladdin is the best, and she's my new Kristoff. Okay.
Okay,
Aww.
so thank you everyone for listening, and we'll be back next week. Bye.
Bye.